on Christ, this officer of 1,000, Yahweh. This is the Atlanta school. We out here in Decatur, Georgia, 3353 Glenwood Road. And then we under the command of Junior Hanna, of course, out of 1 West Harlem in Harlem, New York. So, all right, with that, today is the Tuesday night Brotherhood class. And all right, we're going to get right in. So, the title of the class is Jada, Jezebel, Smith, Part 2. All right, so basically, last week we were going in about the type of woman that's like a Jezebel spirit, right? We was talking about how Jada was. She uses her powers of, influence over a man. It's easy to do if you have a wicked man in the first place, right? Mm-hmm. It's very easy to do, but that's why the scriptures say, a wicked woman is a portion of a wicked man, right? So just like with Jada, what she do? She's a wicked woman. So she gets with Will Smith, and that's all she gonna do is wickedness, right? She got on TV trying to say he couldn't tie fire. You know what I'm saying? His stroke game was weak. All this on live TV. Shouldn't she have enough class about herself to be like, I'm not gonna discuss our marital, bedroom problems with the world? You know what I'm saying? If you gotta go to a counselor or something, that's one thing, because a counselor is actually there to try to fix the situation. When you doing that and you just speak your mind, all that's gonna do is make it worse. So that's like women going around when they have an issue with their husband. What they first thing want to do? They want to go take it to Facebook, right? That don't make the situation better. You thinking you gonna expose him? You actually exposing yourself. So all the stuff you trying to expose on somebody, you actually exposing who you are as a person. And that's telling everybody that you ever talk to, that you can't tell her nothing. Otherwise, when she get mad at you, it's gonna be all the Facebook business, right? Mm-hmm. Who would want to be a close friend of Jada Pinkett? She can't even keep her husband's business to herself, right? You can't hold water, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the type of woman that this is, and it's the same Jezebel spirit that is in Jada, right? Because what did Jezebel do? She destroyed the prophets of God because they wasn't speaking what she liked, right? Chris Rock made a damn joke. A comedian made a joke, and if y'all seen on the video, it was another video where they showed behind Jada Pinkett's head when Chris Rock said, Will Smith just slapped the S out of me. Mm-hmm. She busted out laughing. Mm. That wasn't even a joke, right? Mm. And even the whole crazy part about it too is that I even seen that Chris Rock, he's showing more brotherhood to Will Smith, because there was somebody that at his show that he had, wanted to cuss at Will Smith, wanted to talk about him, and he said, no, we not doing that here. He even showed him more brotherhood than damn Will Smith did. Right. Right? He showed him way more brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Now, I still would have rather him knock his teeth back, but it's not every man is a warrior, you know what I mean? Not every man is a fighter. And that still shows the type of man that even Will Smith is. That The Rock was actually supposed to be the host. He was supposed to be the host. You think you would have came and slapped The Rock? What you think?
No, you got rock bottom for real.
He got a rock bottom, exactly, right? So he wasn't gonna do that to The Rock. So why he do that to Chris Rock? He ain't do it to his brother. Like Chris Rock And Tony Rock remind me of like Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy. Like Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock, they real talented at being comedians, but they kind of like on the nerdier side. They don't really get in all of the hood stuff. But Tony Rock and Charlie Murphy, Charlie Murphy thought he was a gangster. Like he was trying to do some of everything. He was selling drugs, all of that type of stuff, right? So he didn't want to do it to him. He ain't gonna do it to him. He ain't gonna do it to nobody. He gonna do it to somebody he know he can beat up on. He knows Chris Rock. Don't think they don't know each other. Like they got pictures together. They know who each other is. They got each other's phone number. More than likely, right? And they did. He slapped them like that, man. Embarrassed them in front of everybody, right? And the general Mahayman even said, he said that the best thing he should do is go F his wife. It sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy. But he didn't already brought it out. He said, and when he had his brother, he was an abuser of men. He had his own brother that was Uriah. He had him killed so he can have his wife. That's the same spirit that Will Smith was in. You hear in that same spirit. He's willing to kill his brother for this woman. And she ain't even his woman. Whose woman is Jada Pinkett?
I'll say a slug, I'll say for the streets.
That's who she's for? Whose wife is she? She was with August. She probably with other people. They got a whole culture or like rumors going about from them saying that they were swingers. So if that's his wife, I mean if that's not his wife, then what's wrong with Chris Rock hitting it? It's nobody's wife. Just like the woman in the at the well or the whatever that was, when Christ said you had 5 husbands, and the one you got now ain't your husband either. That means she was sleeping with somebody, and it was going to be she just passing through with the men. Right? The same thing that Jada's doing. Same thing. So, all right. Anybody on the conference call yet? All right. Can you go to 1 Kings chapter 21 for me?
Come.
Yeah, go to the first verse.
First Kings. Yeah, 21:1.
Yeah, 1 Kings 21:1.
Right, come. In the book of 1 Kings, chapter 21, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard, which was in Jezreel, hard by the place of Ahab, king of Samaria.
So he was a Jezreelite, right? And he had a vineyard, which was, it's a vineyard and it's a garden, right? A garden is something you got personally that's for you. A vineyard is something that you have to sell. Okay? So he had a vineyard, right? Keep going.
Verse 2. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, Give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house. And I will give thee for a better vineyard than it.
So basically saying, give me your vineyard. I need it because, he was close to where, Ahab was. It was close to where he lived at. So it was close by his palace. So he was like, let me get that land so I can have a garden here, so I can raise my own, crops here, because it's by my house, right? And I would give you a better one than this one. Keep going.
Or if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the word of it in money.
So, or, I'll give you a better one, or I'll give you the money that that it's worth. I'll give that to you. Keep going.
Verse 3. And Nabal said unto Ahab, the Lord forbid it me, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee.
So now he said that the God forbids him to have it. Right? God forbids him to have it. From to sell it to somebody else. He can't give it to Ahab. Right? Because for one, why he can't give it to Ahab? He a wicked Negro.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't give it to him. Keep going.
Verse 4. And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Nabal the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will not give thee the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid down, and he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread.
So now, because somebody, he acting like a spoiled brat. Now you got to think of this as Will and Jada, right? Will, he going around wanting something. He's acting like a spoiled brat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the type of woman that he has. A manipulator. She takes weak men and she manipulates them into what she wants them to do. That's what she's doing in this situation. Keep going.
Verse 5. But Jezebel, his wife, came to him and said unto him, why is thy spirit so sad, that thou eatest no bread?
He said, you don't even want to eat nothing. You have your spirit so down, huh? She came to him, probably real soft and loving like, right? Why is this so bad? Keep going.
Verse 6. And he said unto her, because I spake unto Nabal the Jezreelite, and said unto him, give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it.
So now you telling her the story. I offered him, I wanted this vineyard, right? I wanted this vineyard. But he said I offered him money, offered him another vineyard, but he said no. Keep going.
And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard.
So he said, I ain't giving it to you. Right? He's supposed to be the king. Right? Keep going.
Verse 7. And Jezebel, his wife, said unto him, thou now govern the kingdom of Israel.
So now she said, ain't you the governor? Ain't you the person that's over the kingdom of Israel? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you're like, well, you can do whatever you want to do. This is what Jada's telling Will. Mm-hmm. Ain't you supposed to be this? Mm-hmm. Right? Ain't you supposed to be the best actor to get to this point? Right? Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Arise and eat bread, and let thy heart be mercy. I will give thee the vineyard of Nabal the Jezreelite.
Yeah, he said, let his heart be merry, man. Let his heart be merry. He said, be happy. I'm going to give you the land. And that's how they get you. This the snare that they get you in. Right? They see that you was weak. Right? She seen that you was weak because you had to be weak because she know she not supposed to be with you. You get that? Mm-hmm. Will supposedly in this society, he's supposed to be able to do better than Jada. You get what I'm saying? Just like him, Ahab, he's supposed to do better than Jezebel. Because he's the king of Israel. He supposed to be able to get him a bad sister. He's supposed to be getting him something like Abigail. You know what I'm saying? Judith, Esther. He's supposed to be getting him one of them type of women. Not this old heathen broad, right? Mm-hmm. So she know that according to his own belief system, he's supposed to be above her. And not just because there's a woman, but even she's supposed to be the servant. She's not even supposed to be able to be a wife, right? Mm-hmm. So she sees that. So what do women do when they see the weakness in you? They come and try to get more. They use your weakness against you because she knew that he lusted for her. Because obviously he lusted for her more than the law. He put her, this woman, above the law, which say you ain't supposed to lay with these heathens, right? Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Verse 8. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters unto the elders and to the nobles that were in his city, dwelling with Naboth.
So now she basically forged the letter. And you know, you got to seal it with the king's seal, so you know it's an order given directly from the king, right? Mm-hmm. And she passed it out to all of the high-ranking officers in that area. Keep going.
Verse 9. And she wrote in the letter, saying, proclaim a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people.
So they said, get a fast, right? Everybody gonna fast. And they're going to put them on high. They're going to put them like on a podium or something, right, above everybody. Keep going.
Verse 10. And set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him, saying, thou didst blaspheme God and the king. And then carried him out and stoned him that he may die. Verse 11.
So now they said bring 2 men, sons of Belial, right? Mm-hmm. Which is of her. That's like trying to say what's it put it. It's like Belial means like people that's worshiping they stuff Baal. Mm-hmm. That's like the ones that's not worshiping God. Mm-hmm. So she had to get 2 wicked witnesses, basically. Mm-hmm. Right? Keep going. So they said that he blasphemed God and the king. And so they carry him, cut and stone him, carry them out and stone them so they can die. So you basically want to put them on display to kill him, that he blasphemed the king. Keep going.
Verse 11. And the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who were the inhabitants in this city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them, and as it was written in the letters which she had sent unto them.
So, you know, like I said, he brought out all this to people, and they followed the order. Of course, that they didn't know Jezebel probably wrote the order. They was thinking that the king did. So, go ahead.
Verse 12. They proclaimed a fast and set Naboth on high among the people.
So they did the fast. They put him on high. They put him above everybody. Keep going.
Verse 13. And there came in 2 men, children of Baal, and sat before him. And the men of Baal witnessed against him, even against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth did blaspheme God and the king. Then they carried him forward out of the city and stoned him with the stones that he died.
So now they had those witnesses of Belial, the wicked bastards, came and, lied and said he did these things, and they came and stoned this man. She was responsible for. So now she's using her power of seduction to basically now this is no longer Ahab's kingdom. This is not her kingdom. See what she's doing? Same thing as Jada. She's taking Will Smith's, I guess you could say kingdom, because he's like, high among the people, right? He's very high among the people. He's an internationally known star. So you could say, let's just say his stardom and fame and all of that is his kingdom. So now Jada Pinkett is taking his kingdom and she's making it hers. This the most people that never talked about Jada Pinkett the last, year or so. They ain't talking about Jada Pinkett this much in the 90s. But she was actually beautiful at that point. But then it's like the general even said, man, General Hyman said that, now that this was a curse from God, alopecia, because he made her look just as ugly as her soul. Because she used to be beautiful when she was younger. She was bad, wasn't she? You know what I'm saying? But as she got older, she didn't do like Aunt Angela Bassett, you know what I'm saying? Angela Bassett still look good and she about 60, you know what I mean? She ain't do her. But she looked like one of them, she like an alien or something now. So alright, keep going.
Verse 14. Then they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead.
So now they went and gave a report back saying that Naboth is dead. Keep going.
Verse 15. And it came to pass, when Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned and was dead, that Jezebel said unto Ahab, Arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, which he refused to give thee for money. For Naboth is not alive, but dead.
What this sound like? Don't it sound familiar? Don't it sound like what the oppressors did to Israelites? They had land, so they would go and kill them and take the land. They did it to the Native Americans, and even when black people made money, paid the highest interest rates for the land, paid off the land. They say, you know what, I like this land. It's right where I need it at. So instead of, waiting for it to come up for sale or find it somewhere else, they went and killed people for it. That's why in the 1900s or the turn of 1900s, we had, 15 million acres of land? And now I don't think we even have 1 million acres. This was black people, y'all. Owned over 15 million acres of land. We owned a whole ton of land, man. But then a lot of it just got stolen because these devils wanted it. And that's it. And they killed us for it. And guess what? How much time they did? 0. All right, keep going.
Verse 16. And it came to pass, when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, that Ahab rose up to go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelites to take possession of it.
So now he went down there to take possession. They said, okay, well, what's going to happen with this land? Now he said, I'm going to take possession of it. Keep going.
Verse 17. And the word of the Lord came to Elijah, the Tishbite, saying, verse 18, Arise, go down to meet Ahab, king of Israel, which is in Samaria. Behold, he is in the vineyard of Naboth, whether he is gone down to possess it.
So he said, so the Most High told Elijah to go down there and go talk to Ahab for him. Right? He got to have a word with him. And he said he's going to be down at the vineyard of Naboth. He's going to be down there, right? Because he's trying to get it. Keep going.
Verse 19. And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, Thus said the Lord, hast thou killed, and also taken possession. And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, Thus said the Lord, in the place where dogs lick the blood of the Naboth, Shall dogs lick thy blood, even thine?
So he said, now, since you being a abuser of men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over this, I mean, it ain't the devil, but it's a devil.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
You being, she was a so-called Hamite, African.
Mm-hmm.
Just to clarify, she was African, right? So, over this broad, you didn't even, because after she gave that order, what should have been done about that? If she had given that order without him knowing about it.
Slop, you got to go counsel something like that?
Yeah, you got to go to some type of counsel for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to take her to the judges, and they gonna probably kill her behind,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because she false witness.
Mm-hmm.
So because he didn't even correct her, he was that weak, he chose her over his own nation of people. Y'all see that?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Y'all see how Will Smith is being? He chose her over his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all get that, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right, keep going.
Verse 20. Ahab said to Elijah, hast thou found me, O my enemy?
So he said, oh, you found me, all right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, you found me, you my enemy. Keep going.
And he answered, I have found thee, because thou hast sold thyself to work evil in the sight of the Lord.
They have found you behind because you doing evil out here, man.
Mm-hmm.
You committing crimes against our people, man. Keep going.
Verse 21. Behold, I will bring evil upon thee.
So he said, I'm going to bring evil. You've been bringing evil. Now I'm going to bring it upon you. Keep going.
And will take away thy
Posterity.
Posterity.
Anybody know what that is? Posterity. Everybody go look it up.
So I have got one definition,
Mm-hmm.
and it means the descendant of a person.
Exactly. He go kill his damn descendants, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gonna take away your posterity, man. Because you took away you took away his life. You don't know if he had children, right? We don't know. It's not, as far as I know, it's not recorded if he had children or not. But you just took away his man away. If he did have children and a wife, you just took him away. For what? Greed.
Mm-hmm.
All right? It's the same thing that David did. David got rid of Uriah for what? Greed, because he wanted another woman.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted his woman. But here's the thing that's different. David repented. He said, you right, I did do this. Keep going.
And will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall.
Him that pisseth against the wall, that's all his male children, right? Keep going.
And him that is shut up and left in Israel.
And everybody, all of them that's shut up, that's left, and everybody that's in Israel, going to destroy, that's out of his lineage. Keep going.
Verse 22. And will make thy house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahijah, for the provocation, whereas thou have provoked me to anger, and made Israel to sin.
So he said, you go have the same house. They don't have a house no more. Their house is destroyed. It's been tampered on. It's been was trampled on. That's what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Verse 23. And of Jezebel also spake the Lord, saying, the dogs shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel.
So basically, she knows, because you know she's in Israel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jezebel, she's in Israel. So she knows the law. I'm sure she's learning something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because her whole path was to destroy Ahab, she hated Israel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what better way to show that you hate Israel than to marry a weak ruler and cause him to destroy himself? That's a sick demon. Same one that Jay Smith has, right? Just call it Jada Pinkett. I don't know if that's Smith. I don't think that's his wife no more. It's called a Jada Pinkett. Keep going.
Verse 23. I'm sorry. No. Verse 24. Him that dieth of Ahab in the city, the dogs shall eat, and him that dieth in the field shall the fowls of the air eat.
So all the Ahab, all those people, all the people that's following him, the dogs gonna eat in the city, in the field, the fowls, you know, buzzards and stuff like that, they eat dead animals. Keep going.
Verse 25. But there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up.
So he sold himself to do this evil. He sold himself. He sold himself for that land that Naboth had. He sold himself for that land. He sold his dignity. He sold his people for this woman in that land, right? Keep going.
Verse 26. And he did very abominably and following idols. Following idols, according to all things, as did the Amorites, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel.
So he started having them following idols, because he was a Hamite, man. That's what they do. So he following after all of they guys and they idols and all of that. All right. Keep going.
So, verse 27. And it came to pass, when Ahab heard those words, that he rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his flesh, and fasted and lay in sackcloth, and went softly.
So he got a sackcloth, which is like old clothes, right? And he fasted, he ripped his clothes. Rent means to rip, because he's like in Israel time they had like certain clothes that they would wear, like when they were in times of mourning, right? It wasn't like the steam clothes. It'd be rags basically that they would wear, and he would rip it because they was going through mourning, right? All right. Keep going.
Verse 28. And the word of the Lord came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, verse 29, seest thou how Ahab humbled himself before me? Because he humbled himself before me, I will not bring the evil in his days, but in his son's days I will bring the evil upon his house.
Now you see that. He didn't bring it to him in his days, but he said, because you did do this evil, your son's gonna get it. Alright? Y'all see that? The Most High, he can forgive you if you see it. He can forgive you if you repent of it. And they try to say there was no repentance of sin in the Old Testament. Y'all see this? David, he committed adultery. And he repented and still didn't die. Right? And that's the Ten Commandment law. That's in death. All right. Go ahead. What's going on now? What I'm too wild about. So you got any questions at all, or?
I just chimed in. What's the topic?
Continuation from last week. Jada Jezebel Smith. Alright. Now go to 2 Kings chapter 9.
Start at 1?
7.
Cover.
So basically, Elisha took the reins after Elijah, right? And he called up the prophets and everybody, the children of them. He said, he's just getting people together. And that's where it starts. Keep going.
Book of 2 Kings, chapter 9, verse 7. And thou shalt smite the house of Ahab, thy master, that I may avenge the blood of my servants, the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of the Lord, at the hand of Jezebel.
Mm-hmm. So he's going to avenge the blood of his servants, of his prophets, right? All of them at the hands of Jezebel. Keep going.
Verse 8. For the whole house of Ahab shall perish, and I will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel.
So he said he gonna get everything. Like I said, we said in the last chapter, he was gonna get all of his sons, right? Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Verse 9. And I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam.
Go to verse 10.
Come. Verse 10. And the dogs shall eat Jezebel in the portion of Jezreel, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled.
So he's saying that there ain't even gonna be none of her to bury. They ain't even want her. That's how much the dogs is gonna eat her. So she ain't even gonna have to have a proper burial is showing that you had a proper life. Mm-hmm. But if you just get thrown somewhere, you was a wicked Negro, a wicked whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? Keep going.
Verse 11. Then Jehu.
Go ahead.
What's it?
On the conference call.
Oh.
Hey, Shalom Christ out. So what?
Sir.
Alright, go ahead. Pass.
Come. The book of 2 Kings, chapter 9, verse 11. Then Jehu came forward to the servants of his Lord, and one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore came this mad fellow to thee? And he said unto them, Ye know the man and his communication.
Mm-hmm. So he said to all of the people, so they know this mad fellow, right? Know his communication. Keep going.
Verse 12. And they said, It is false. Tell us now. And he said thus, and thus spake he to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel.
Well, you can tell this is Israelite books, right? Mm-hmm. He said thus and thus. That's like our brothers say, little this and that,
Right.
What other words? You got a bunch of words we use that just mean, I can't think of right now. My mind is shut down. But you know how Israel we got blase vibe, blase this.
Yeah.
All the different little terms. That's the same thing. Thus and thus spoken to be the same thing. Keep going.
Verse 13. And they hasted and took every man his garment and put it under him on the top of the stairs and blew with trumpets, saying, Jehu is king.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let me see. Okay. So now he's going to go. So now they about to go and try to go to war with these people, right? With the people that had the brothers killed. Go to verse 24.
Come. The book of 2 Kings, chapter 9, verse 24. And Jehu threw a bow with his full strength and smote Jeroboam between his arms, and the arrow went out his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot.
So he seen Jehoram, forgot who that was, and struck him right in his heart, and he slumped down in his chariot. He was dead, right? Keep going.
Verse 25, and said Jehu to Bakar, his captain, take up and cast him in a portion of the field of Naboth, the Jezreelites. For he remember how that when and thou rode together after Ahab his father, the Lord laid this burden upon him.
So, take off, they said that portion that Naboth had, right? Remember how that when, they rode together after Ahab, his father, the Lord laid this burden upon him. He said just the same way like the Most High laid the burden of with Naboth, he gonna lay that burden upon him to go kill him. All right, go ahead.
Verse 26. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Naboth and the blood of his sons, saith the Lord, and I will requite thee in this place, saith the Lord. Now therefore take and cast him onto the plat of ground, according to the word of the Lord.
All right. So he said, he's seen it in the blood of the Israelites, right, that died. And he said, I need to see blood for that. All right. Let me see. All right, keep going.
Verse 27. But when Ahijah, the king of Judah, saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house, and Jehu followed after him, and said, smite him, also in a chariot. And they did so at the going up to Gur, which is by Abilim. And he fled to Megiddo and died there.
Okay. So this was let me see. So now Ahijah, the king of Judah, saw he heard it, so he went away, but Jehu followed him, and he said, smite him, kill him the same way you did the other brother. Right? Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Verse 28. And his servant carried him in a chariot to Jerusalem, and bury him in his sepulchre with his fathers in the city of David.
Mm-hmm. So the servants carried him in a chariot, so they was about to take him, so they can bury him in the sepulchre, right? So he went to his fathers in the city of David. He wanted to be buried with his fathers. Keep going.
Verse 29. And in the 11th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, began Eleazar to reign over Judah.
So now, Ahaziah, he started to reign. Now go to go to the next one.
Come. Verse 30. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face.
Anybody know what that means?
It's like pretty much she's trying to camouflage herself.
You said what?
Like basically trying to hide her face, like paint it.
No.
Oh no, not that.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
She went putting on like makeup and stuff, trying to, mighty women, they trying to, do what she can, trying to entice a man.
Yep.
With makeup and shit.
Yeah. She knows she about to die. So she's trying to look pretty before she dies. If y'all know, that's the whole spirit of even Jada Pinkett. The whole time she's trying to make sure she looks good. Right? Everything she do, she makes sure herself looks good while she destroying Will. Destroying his whole legacy. Right? Keep going.
And tried her head and looked out her head and looked out at a window.
So now she would have looked out the window, okay? Keep going.
Verse 31. And as Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, had Zimri peace, who slew his master.
So he said, go to the next verse. That's what I want you to read right there.
Verse 32. And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs.
So he had, a couple eunuchs that was bound. And he went, and he looked up and said, seen her. I guess she stick her head out the window. So look up and say, who on the side? We about to go kill this bro. Keep going.
Verse 33. And he said, throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on her horses, and he trod her underfoot.
So they trampled her, man. She splattered on the ground. So blood was on the walls, on some of the horses. So, and just like her, she wanted to look beautiful before she died, right? Mm-hmm. She knew she was like, wow, if you about to die, you know how sick of a person you gotta be to be ready to put on makeup? You about to die. That's a narcissistic individual.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You about to die. Why is you worried about makeup? All right. Keep going.
Verse 34. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink, and said, go, see now this cursed woman, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. Verse 35.
Okay, go ahead.
And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull, and the feet, and the palms of her hands.
So when they saw there wasn't nothing left, they couldn't even bury her. She didn't even have no bones left like that. Skull, feet, in the palms of her hands. They lick them, but them dogs lick them bones clean. Right? They leave nothing left of it. Alright. Keep going.
Verse 36. Wherefore they came again and told him. And he said, This is the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, In the portion of Jezreel, of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel.
So, and he's just saying that's what the prophecy was. The dogs gonna eat her. Keep going. Read this last one.
Verse 37. And the case of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field, in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, This is Jezebel.
So they basically saying that she's gonna be as dung. You don't look at a piece at a turd and say, This is so and so. She gonna be dumb because why is she actually gonna be dumb? She got eaten, right? By dogs. And what do all animals do? All of them take a dump, right? So she gonna be dung. That's where her body is in dung. It's in dog crap. Alright. Here. That's why, like, you as even an Israelite, you gotta protect yourself, man, from these wicked women. And these women, they are, some women, they can get a spirit of them, and they're just head, just set on just destroying you, just making your life a living hell, because their life ain't nothing, right? It's like they get turned on by that. Let me see if I can get him to turn against his God. Let me see if I can get him to do whatever. And that's the type of woman that you get. If you weak under women, and you can't hold water, you don't know how to deal with how women can be. This is the type of woman you deserve, man. You deserve her. Let's go ahead and turn against your brothers. That's what Jada Pinkett did. Had him turn against her brothers. Had Will turn against his brothers. Alright? Give me Proverbs 6 and 26.
All right. Come. The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 26. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread.
So, you got a whorish woman, she gonna bring you to a piece of bread, because if you got a whorish woman, that means you ain't worth nothing. You got a woman whorish, she's made your value go lower. Keep going.
And the adulteress will hunt for the precious life.
That can be taken couple different ways. She's trying to, that adulterous woman, what they said, adulterer is a deep ditch, a whore's woman is a deep ditch. She's looking to put more people in that deep pit. She's hunting that out, right? She's hunting that precious life. You know what that precious life is talking about? Your manhood. Your essence that made you who you are, she wants that for herself. All right, keep going.
Verse 27.
Oh, no, stop and give me Proverbs 12 and 4.
12 and 4. Con, the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. But
So,
she that...
was saying a virtuous woman, she's a crown to her husband. Like, you already a man, this make you official. You know what I'm saying? Now, you got a virtuous woman. Like, I got a good woman. Because, you know, good women want a good man, want the best men. The most highest in the man women is going to go to the most higher than the man, right? Typically how it goes. So she's going to be the crown. She's going to be the crown to say, yep, I'm that dude. Keep going.
But she that maketh ashamed, as it is,
Is as rottenness.
is as rottenness in his bones.
Just like if you got rotten bones, you got rottenness in your bones, what is that like? That means your body is breaking down. Like a verse you can kind of say is like I remember my aunt had it. She had I'm just trying to give you like a real life scenario. She had I think it was multiple myeloma, I believe it is. But basically it was dissolving like her bones, right? And that's like a version of, it's not quite the same, but it kind of is. It's like, what is it? Then when she was trying to stand up and get out of bed, she would break her arms because her bones was that weak. That's what it's saying. It's break, because you got a woman that's like that, it's going to break you down. And you see Will, what's happening to him? He getting broke down, right? Because she make him shame. He's shameful. He just want Jada to act right, but she refused to do it. And now he got rotten bones, which means he can't even stand up straight. She's cancer in his body, taking away all his strength. All right? Now drop that, give me 1 Corinthians 6 and 15.
Concord. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 15. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ?
So your body, right now is a member of Christ, right? It's part of those members, is of Christ. Keep going.
Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of a harlot?
So you're going to take this part of Christ and give it to a hoe. You giving that to a hoe. Your rod, you giving it to a hoe. And you see what a hoe is like. Right? Keep going.
God forbid.
God forbid. No, don't do that. Keep going.
Verse 16. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to a harlot is one body?
So now, once you lay with that woman, y'all are one body. And we in the school, we one body, right? So now, you have joined a whore amongst Israel. That put a whole different perspective on it, don't it? Keep going.
For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
For two, that's what the Most High said. He gonna be one flesh. And that's what you want to be, one flesh with a hoe. One flesh with a hoe. That's everybody's woman. Right? Keep going.
Verse 17. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit.
But a person that's joined unto the Most High, he's one spirit. And that's how we all should be. That's why you gotta keep your woman. You know, don't date, don't get with whores, man. Don't get with them. Leave them for the streets. Jada Pinkett should have been left for the streets. She should have not have been joined to his body. And because she joined to his body, now she gonna be rottenness in his bones. Making it so he can't even stand up. Alright. Alright, how much time we got left? Anybody got any questions on that? Okay. Alright, let's see here. Go to 1 Samuel 13 and 2.
Okay, come. The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 13, verse 2. Saul chose him 3,000 men of Israel, whereof 2,000 were with Saul, and Mashah,
And
Michmash, and the mount of Bethel, and 1,000 were with Jonathan, and Gabah of Benjamin, and the rest of the people he sent every man to his tent.
So, you know, he chose, anybody know who Jonathan is? Anybody know who that is?
Jonathan is what? I think like it's tall. I know he's David's best friend.
Yeah.
But the whole king of... Oh, he's Saul's father. I mean, Saul's son, my bad.
Yeah, he's Saul's son.
Saul's son.
Right? Saul's son. Okay. So he was part of the military, like, coalition that they had, right? He was part of the military. So, and so was the rest of his sons. So, you know, as he's ruling, you know, of course, David, you know, they meet each other or whatever, right? Let's go to that. Go to, hold on. Let me see something. Okay, so basically, you know, they fighting all that against the Philistines. That's who Saul was fighting against, the Philistines, the entire time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all can read a little bit of your own time. This is talking about the fights that they had, chapter 14. Now go to chapter 18.
Book of 1 Samuel, chapter 13, verse 18. And another company turned...
Oh, wait, hold on one second. So, yeah, now David, he went and killed Goliath, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they started killing them bastards, them Philistines, right? And the king, he wanted to know who David was. And David, after he came, he said he's the one that killed. He said he brought him before Saul, the head of the Philistine, Goliath's head in his hand. And Saul said to him, who is the son of thou? This young man, David said, I am the son of thy servant Jesse, the Bethlehemite. Now go to verse 1.
What verse?
Yeah, the first 18 and 1.
You mean 1 Samuel 18 and 1.
Yeah, 1 Samuel 18 and 1.
Okay.
Yep.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 18, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul.
So when David got done speaking, Jonathan was like, I like this dude. He just went himself and killed this bastard at Goliath. That's their most fearsome warrior. So he was like, I mess with him. So they became tight. Keep going.
Verse 2. And Saul took him that day and will let him go no more home to his father's house.
So Saul he took him in. He took him in. Like, this is like his godfather now. Godfather Saul, right? Keep going.
Verse 3. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul.
So Jonathan and David, they made like a deal with each other, right? Keep going.
Verse 4. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him and gave it to David.
Now don't let them homosexuals try to say that he went butt naked and he gave him his clothes. Like, they had clothes up under their garment. That's like, you got your garment, right? You got clothes under there, right? You got pants on, shirt, all of that. It don't mean he was out there butt naked. He just showed his nakedness to him. For one, you all know that's a sin. So they wouldn't have done this. So he just gave it to him, just like brothers give garments to other brothers all of the time.
It's lucky that's saying I give you a shirt on my back. Like
Yeah, something like that.
Back,
Yeah, he gave it to him. Like, that's just a sign of, you know, you my dude, I mess with you, you know, I want you to have a piece of me. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, you know. Go ahead, you can read it.
And his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle.
So he gave him his whole outfit, man. He gave him garments. They're like, you about to be fly now, bro. You gonna have the finest garments, right? All right, keep going.
And David went out whithersoever
There you go.
Saul sent him.
So he went wherever Saul sent him to, everywhere. Wherever you went, I'm going. Count out on one card. That's what he said. Count out on one card. He gone. Keep going.
And behaved himself wisely.
And he
And
behaved
Saul,
himself. So he did things that was honorable to be, you know, that close to the king. Right? Keep going.
And Saul set over him, and Saul set him over the men of war.
Men of war. Keep going.
And he was accepted in the sight of all the people. And also in the sight of Saul's servants.
So they accepted him. Like, they like, okay, yeah, he should be there. He that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, they even had jokes. The women asked, you know, that's what started. Saul started becoming jealous of him, cause Saul, they were saying Saul, he slayed his thousands, but David his 10,000s. Right? And that, you know, that displeased him because he felt like he's the king, right? So that's him killing people, right? So he didn't like that. So now you can read verse 7.
Come. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 18 verse 7.
So yeah, like when he came out of killing the Philistines, the women was all over David. You know, he a pretty boy. So they all over this and keep going.
And the woman answered one another as they played and said, Saul have slain his thousands and David his 10,000.
So they playing songs and stuff like that. Dave, Saul killed this 10,000, and they say Saul killed thousands of people, and David killed 10,000s of people. Keep going.
Verse 18. And Saul was very wroth, and the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000, and to me they have ascribed but thousands. And what can he have more but the kingdom?
So he's saying that because remember, what's the name? Samuel already told him that he has given the kingdom away. That God has taken the kingdom from him. Mm-hmm. He already knows this. So he said, if he already got the respect from everybody, the men of war respect you. This is a man's man. Mm-hmm. What more he can't have? What else can he have? Mm-hmm. But the kingdom. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else he can have then, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what he's saying. What else can he have but the kingdom? This got to be the one he was talking about. Mm-hmm. All right. Let me see here. So now he wanted to kill David. So, he's chasing David around. So, so, all right. Now go to chapter 19.
Okay. This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 19, verse 1. And Saul spake unto Jonathan, his son, and to all his servants, that they should kill David.
So now he's telling everybody, all this, he having a council, all his servants, that they need to kill David. Get rid of him. Keep going.
Verse 2. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David.
Yeah, he loved David, right? Jonathan, he didn't want to have David. Keep going.
And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul, my father seeketh to kill thee. Now therefore, I pray thee, take heed to thyself until the morning, and abide in a secret place and hide thyself.
So now he's saying, go into the morning, go somewhere, and go hide, right? And I'm on, it's going to get more. Keep going.
Verse 3. And I will go outside, and I will go out and stand beside my father in the field, where thou art, and I will commune with my father of thee. And what I see, that I will tell thee.
So now, he wants to get more information, why you want to kill David and all that. You want to see that did he do something, right? Mm-hmm. So he's going to go talk to his father. Keep going.
Verse 4. And Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father.
So he spoke good words about David to Saul. Keep going.
And said unto him, let not the king sin against his servant, against David.
So he said, don't sin. What he's trying to do is, he's trying not to destroy the family. He's trying to protect everybody. He wants to talk to him and say, he's trying to talk him out of the sin he's about to do. He's trying to talk him out of it. He's like, yo, don't do this. Don't kill your servant. He's serving you. You know what I'm saying? But it said the Most High, he put the evil spirit and the evil angel in him, the evil spirit into him. So keep going.
Because he have not sinned against thee.
He ain't do nothing to you. He ain't do nothing bad against you. Keep going.
And because his works have been to thee very good.
So he said everything has been towards you have been very good. He killed a bunch of Philistines that was trying to kill Israel. You know what I'm saying? He married his wife, I mean, his daughter. So he was taking care of her. Everything he's done was good. Keep going.
Verse 5. For he did put his life in his hand and slew the Philistine.
So and he put his life in his hand and he went out there and killed that Philistine. Keep going.
And the Lord wrought a great salvation for all Israel.
So then he brought a great salvation, like they got saved from Goliath, right? And he said, you saw it. Keep going.
Thou sawest it,
Yeah, you saw it. Keep going.
and didst rejoice.
Yeah, you saw you saw this. You was there. And you was happy. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Wherefore, then without sin against innocent blood, to slay David without a cause.
They say you do all that, and why do you want to kill David without a reason? You was there partying when he killed them stinking Africans.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Verse 6. And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan, and Saul sware as the Lord liveth, he shall not be slain.
Mm-hmm. So now he said, he's not going to be slain. All right? Now, let me see something. See what I can go to from here. Okay. What verse was you at?
Begin at verse 7.
Verse 7. Okay. So then David went back out, killed some more people, right? So now go to verse 9.
Come. Verse 9. And the evil spirit from the Lord was upon Saul, as he sat in his house, with his javelin in his hand. And David played with his hand.
So he felt like David was taking his javelin, which meant the kingdom. He was taking it from him, right? Mm-hmm. And he's sitting in his house, he mad. This little dude trying to take the kingdom from you, man. Mm-hmm. Probably rocking in a rocking chair just thinking like, that's some bull. That's the picture I think. It's a lot of you. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And Saul sought to smite David, even to the wall with the javelin.
He wanted to smite him with the javelin. He wanted to kill him with the javelin. Keep going.
But he slipped away out of Saul's presence, and he smote the javelin onto the wall. And David fled and escaped that night.
So he was able to escape his him trying to kill him again. So hold on 1 second. Read the next one.
Verse 11. Saul also sent messengers unto David's house to watch him and to slay him in the morning. And David's wife told him, saying, if thou save not thy life tonight, tomorrow thou shalt be slain.
So now this is wife. This is Saul's daughter saying, if you don't dip up out of here tonight, you're going to be dead tomorrow. You're going to be a dead man tomorrow. All right. So he went through a window. He got out of there, right? Mm-hmm. Go. This is funny. All right, we read through this quickly. All right, I'll read through it. So what Michal did, she let him get out. She took an image, laid it on the bed, took a pillow of goat's hair for for his like his hair and covered it with the cloth. So she, he got nigga hair. So he got, nappy hair. So he put ghost hair to make it look like it was him, right? And he covered it with the cloth. So make it like, when you sick, they put like the cloth over your head or whatever. So he said he's sick. You can't take him, he's sick. And then so he sent the messengers. He said, bring him to him, because he wanted to kill him. Then when he came in, it was just an image and the ghost hair, right? So they got him out of there. So they basically, you know how the trick is, you act like you put like pillows under your bed, under your covers, and act like there's somebody in there. Yeah, that's basically what she did, and so he can escape. All right. Let me see here. Okay. All right. Let me see here. So he went and took off. All right, let me see. Okay, so now, so now he's saying like now go to chapter 20 verse 1. All right.
Call
Try
time.
to close this on out.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 20, verse 1. And David fled from Naros and Ramah, and came and said before Jonathan, what I have done, what is my iniquity? And what is my sin before thy father, that he seeketh my life?
So now he said, what has he done? So he went and met up with Jonathan, like, yo, what's up with him? He trying to kill me still. What did I do? Go ahead.
Verse 2, and he said unto him, the Most High forbid, thou shalt not die, before my father will do nothing either great or small, but that he will show it me. And why shall my father hide this thing from me? It is not so.
So now he telling him, he can't do nothing great or small bad to you. He not, God is forbidding that, right? And he said he would show that to me, that he was trying to do something. He said, why would he hide it from me, right? And he said, no, this can't be what he trying to kill you. Because, he already talked to him about it. And he said he wasn't going to do anything to him. But that demon got back in. What it say? It leaves you for a time, then it come back. That's what happened. So, let me see here. So now he went to go hide in the field, So, and he didn't want to go. They were supposed to go and eat. You know what I'm saying? Supposed to eat together with the king. And he said he's not about to do that. That's what David's saying. So, trying to get to the scripture where he's talking about it. All right. Okay. So yeah, now they talking back and forth like, why you don't know why he's trying to kill me, what's going on, what's the deal with your father, like what's the just talking back and forth, right? So then they went to a field and And he said, if it please my Father to do evil, I will show it to you and send you away. And if thou mayest go in peace, and the Lord be with thee, he have been with my Father, as he have been with my Father. So he's telling him, like, if you're going to know, how you do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to know if he's trying to kill you or not. He's going to go and talk to him himself again. So, okay, so here's what he said. They're going to go to this dinner that they're going to have, and he said he noticed David has a seat at the table, right? He has a seat at the table at this, because he's one of the king's, generals, basically. So now he's there, basically, and now his seat is empty. Now he's going to try to question his father about it, right? Okay. All right. Go to, he said he's going to go down to the field. Go to verse 20.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 20, verse 20. And I will shoot 3 arrows on the side thereof, as thought I shot at a mark.
So he said he's going to shoot 3 arrows like he's shooting at something, right? Keep going.
Verse 21. And behold, I was sent a lad, saying, Go, find out the arrows. If I expressly say unto the lad, Behold, the arrows are on this side of thee, take them, then come down, for there is peace to thee, and no hurt, as the Lord liveth. So
he's saying, if I say it's on this side of you, then you good. Keep going.
Verse 22. But if I say thus unto the young man, Behold, the arrows are beyond thee. Go thy way, for the Lord has sent thee away.
So now he's saying, but he said it was going to be like, say if you back here, right? If I shoot the arrows on this side and it's closer, it's between me and you, it's safe. If I shoot it past you, then you need to hit the hill. So you need to roll. All right? Keep going.
Verse 23. And as touching the matter which thou and I have spoken of, behold, the Lord be between thee and me forever.
So he's saying that the Lord's gonna be with David and David forever. Now they at the dinner, right? And now David's spot is gone. Okay. So he said, go to verse 29.
Verse 29. And he said, Let me go, I pray thee, for our family have a sacrifice in the city, and my brother, he have commanded me to be there. And now, if I have found favor in thy eyes, let me get away, I pray thee, and see my brethren. Therefore he cometh out unto the king's table.
So he's saying that David's not coming. He wants him to meet him over in another place, right? So then now he's just testing him. Then keep going.
Verse 30. Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, Thou son of perverse, rebellious woman.
So he said, you the son of a perverse, rebellious woman. Now he cursing him like this is cuss words, really. You know what I'm saying? He's cussing at him. Then you of a perverse and rebellious woman. Keep going.
Do not have known that thou had chosen the son of Jesse to thy own confusion, and unto the confusion of thy mother's nakedness.
So he's trying to say that he's sinning. But compared it to seeing your own mother's nakedness, that your confusion of you going against me from trying to kill David. That's what he's doing. He's comparing those two. All right, keep going.
Verse 31. For as long as the son of Jesse liveth upon the ground, thou shalt not be established, nor thy kingdom. Wherefore now send and fetch him unto me, for he shall surely die.
So he said, go get him. He shall not have anything be established. So you're not supposed to have nothing. So kill him. So get him so I can kill him. So Jonathan, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. So he knew that, he asked him what he do, and then Saul went to go hit him with his javelin. So then he knew that he was determined to kill David. So he rose out from the table. He didn't eat no meat because he was grieving for David, right? And his father done him shame because he trying to kill David for no reason, right? So he went to the field, point time with David, had the lad with him. The lad is, of course, a little kid. So he said when he shot the arrow, he said the arrow was beyond thee. So now he knew when he did the arrow that David knew what was going on. So then when the lad left, go to verse 41.
Come, verse 41. And as soon as the lad was gone, David arose out of a place toward the south and fell on his face to the ground and bowed himself 3 times. And they kissed one another and wept one with another until David seated.
So this ain't no homosexual stuff, right? He rose out of there. He was, he's like crying, damn near. You know what I'm saying? He's like got his face to the ground because he's like grieving that Saul. Because you gotta think, this man has taken you in. This your godfather, right? He's taking you in. And now you supposed, now he wants to kill you. You done became pretty much brothers with his son. Y'all real tight. And he just want to kill you for no reason. You don't even know what the hell. You like, what did I do to him? I did everything he asked. So he's like confused. And that's the most depressing part of it. Because he didn't even do anything. At least if if you do something to somebody, well, I did do that to him, so he should be mad. He didn't do anything, so that's even more confusing. Right? So, and they kissed one another, that means they touched one another. Not anything homosexual. They always want to put that. But no, kiss is like how we dap each other up. That's what a kiss is. It's a touch. It's like you kiss the ball off the rim, it's a soft touch. Like you playing basketball, you tipped it off, you kiss the glass. That's all it is. All right. So Jonathan, they went and split off from there. All right. So let me see here. We got a little bit more, and we gonna try to close it on out. All right. Okay. So fast forward. Saul and Jonathan end up dying, right? Go to 2 Samuel 1 for me real quick.
Come. The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass after the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites.
So he went and killed them, the fake Jews, that's as Amalek. He killed them. He was killing them, right? Keep going.
And David had abode 2 days in Ziklag.
Keep going.
Verse 2. And it came to pass on the third day that behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul with his clothes rent and earth upon his head.
So he came out with his clothes ripped, and he had earth. You know, when you were mourning, you would rip your clothes and put, you know, dirt on your head. This is like a sign of mourning. Keep going.
And so it was, when he came to David, that he fell to the earth and did obeisance. Obeisance.
Okay. Keep going.
Verse 3. And David said unto him, from whence comest thou? And he said unto him, out of the camp of Israel am I escaped.
So he came out of the camp of Israel. He was in the camp and he escaped. Keep going.
Verse 4. And David said unto him, how went the matter? I pray thee, tell me. And he answered, that the people are fled from the battle, and many of the people also are fallen, and dead shall Saul and Jonathan his son are dead also.
Yep. And now he's telling them that Saul and Jonathan is dead. So he running away trying to, you know, he's still fighting and killing Amalek, you know, trying to obey his orders that Saul gave him, right? So, and now Saul and Jonathan dead. Now he hearing this, what? Keep going.
Verse 5. And David said unto the young man that told him, how knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan his son be dead?
He said, now how you know that? How you know that they dead? Keep going.
Verse 6. And the young man that told him said, as I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him.
Okay. Now I'm gonna try to skip ahead a little bit for time's sake. So he leaned on the spear, and the chariots and the horsemen followed hard after him. So all of them they got killed, they all died right after. That's when Saul seen that they were getting killed. His son was dead, and he fell on his sword, right? And then now he said when he saw this, you know, young man or whatever, he said that, who are you? He said, I'm one of the Amalekites. So he said, anguish has come upon me. My life is yet whole. Because you know you can stab yourself in a certain place and you don't die for a long time. Like he goes straight through your organs. I mean, no, without touching your organs, right? And you can just sit there and you will bleed to death, and that can take a long time. You know, it's anatomy, right? So and he told him, the Amalekite, he said, slay me. He said to kill him. He told he said, as we tell him the story, Saul told him to kill him, right? So then he said that he could not, so I stood upon him and he killed him. Because he was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And he took the crown that was on his head and the bracelet that was on his arm and brought that to David. So David, you know, he went and started, you know, lamenting, which is, you know, grieving. And go to 13.
Verse 13. And David said unto the young man that told him, whence thou art? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite.
So he said, who is you? He Amalek. Keep going.
Verse 14. And David said unto him,
Now this some gangster mess, right? Man, you can't tell me the Bible is some Christian, homosexual book. Read this.
verse 14, and David said unto him, how was thou not afraid to stretch forward thy hand to destroy the Lord's anointed?
So he said, how was you not to, he's still calling Saul God's anointed. And because he's still an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? He said, how was you not afraid? You should have been like, I'm too afraid to touch one of God's people, to kill him, even if he told me to. And here's what happened. Keep going.
Verse 15, and David called one of the young men and said, go near and fall upon him. And he smote him that he died.
And he called somebody and said, kill his mother. Like he killed him. Keep going.
Verse 16, and David said unto him, thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth hath testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed.
He said that he slayed the Lord's anointed. So he testified, he telling people that he did. He's not like people think of, he's this Amalek. He's not telling them in a sorry way. He's telling them in a bragging, like, I did it. I'm the one that did it as well. And he said, you should have been trembling to even tell me. And he wasn't. He enjoyed it. You know why? Because they the devil the Bible speaks of, man.
That's right.
That's why he enjoyed seeing you dead. Your brother's dead. He enjoyed him. It gave because Amalek felt like he should be over you. That's why Amalek became you. And then made it, and then he told you that you was a damn African, man. He took your identity and said you was a damn African. Right? And then he bragging damn near to the wrong one. David said, kill this dude, man. Kill him, right? Okay. Talking about slaying the Lord's anointing. Man, you better go on. And I got one more part I want to read. Go to chapter 9.
Okay. Book of 2 Samuel, chapter 9, verse 1. And David said, is there yet any that is left of the house of Saul, that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake? So
he's saying, is anybody, this is after, all of this, he's starting to take over and take the kingdom back. He said, you want to show him kindness. Keep going.
Verse 2. And there was the house of Saul, a servant whose name was Jezebel. And when they had called him unto David, the king said unto him, art thou Jezebel? And he said, thy servant is he.
So they went to go find him, right? Find this man. Keep going.
Verse 13. And the king said, is there not yet?
Okay, keep going.
Oh, sorry. Not yet any of the house of Saul, that I may show the kindness of the Most High unto him. And Jezebel said unto the king, Jonathan, have yet a son, which is lame on his feet. So he's lame. That means like he got a disability on his feet. Like he might be missing a leg or something like that. He's something's wrong with his. He has like a disability, right? Okay. So they went and got him. Go to verse 7. Verse 7. And David said unto him, Fear not, for I will surely show thee kindness for Jonathan, thy father's sake, and will restore thee all the land of Saul thy father, and thou shalt eat bread at my table continually.
So now he said, you're going to eat at my table. I'm going to give you back the land of Saul. I'm going to give you back the land. And he lame. Now you got to think of how powerful this is. He letting them eat on his table. You know, the lame, the one that had disabilities, weren't allowed to reproduce and be around like the kings like that. You know, it's just as, you know, he had like a class hierarchy system. And then once he was lame, he was born lame probably, right? Now he can't come upon, you know, a lot of times, like if you have like somebody has a disability, they don't come amongst the rest of the Israelites like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he probably didn't die, because he wasn't in war, because he can't fight. He's disabled. He can't go and fight. See what I'm saying? So Jonathan, he was warned, just like David was. He was part of the army before. He was like the general of the army before David was. See what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 8. And he bowed himself and said, What is thy servant, that thou shouldest look upon such a dead dog as I am?
So he called himself a dead dog. He felt like, he's, the bottom. Why you gonna look at me, right? Keep going.
Verse 9. Then the king called to Ziba, Saul's servant, and said unto him, I have given unto thy master's son that all pertained to Saul and to all his house.
So he gave everything that was with Saul. He restored it back to Ziba. Right? Keep going.
Verse 10. Thou therefore and thy sons and thy servants shall till the land for him, and thou shalt bring in the fruits, that thy master's son may have food to eat.
So he said, your sons and the servants, they gonna go and they gonna till the land. They gonna keep the land good for you, right? So you're gonna always have food to eat. Keep going.
But Mephibosheth, thy master's son, shall eat bread always at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants.
So he had all those sons and servants. Let me see. So that's what happened. He let them eat at his table. Now he can eat. That's like eating at the general's table. You like the right hand of the generals, right? You sitting at their tables. That's what Commander General Yohana was when he was with the 7 Eds. He was sitting at their table, learning everything from them. He was the highest ranking general when when all of the other stuff happened, right? He sat at their table. This is Jonathan, right? Which is actually, if I'm not mistaken, that's what Yohana means. It's Jonathan. Which is powerful, right? So, and he's a Benjamite. The same thing as Commander Yohana, right? So, that just goes to show you, man, the scriptures, they repeat themselves, man. You can find that even in the scriptures, the stuff repeats itself. But that's what happened. He learned from the 7 years, and he sat at the king's table, man. Right? And he showed excellent brotherhood. Who's more brotherly than Commander Yohana? I don't know anybody. And that's the brotherhood that Jonathan showed David. Right? Even though Jonathan, he might have disobeyed the order to try to kill David, but he still showed his father love, showed ultimate respect for his father. He was still fighting alongside his father the whole time, but loyal to a fault. Just loyal. And, you know, even to his death, man. All right. Now that's how brothers are supposed to treat each other, man. Y'all see, this is what the black community needs. Black and Hispanics need this. They don't need Christmas trees and bunny rabbits laying eggs. They don't need none of that, man. This is what they need is brotherhood. How to love your brother the same or better than you love yourself. I said that one time. Man, let's love each other more than we love each other. The more we love ourselves. Because you'll put yourself on drugs. You'll do all kinds of, you'll mess with whores, man. Love your brother better than you love yourself, man.
Right.
Y'all get that?
All
right. Anybody got any questions or comments before I wrap it up? Alright, but yeah, like I said, man, love your brother more than you love yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? We all we got here. You see, they gonna take pride in killing. You see how he was? He was happy. Right? And then he ended up killing his behind too. Alright. With that, pass the class over to priest and officer the Pastor Yah.
This is the Isupk security announcements. We're at the Isupk started our 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister come to the school, there are limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to set themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. My Isreal means 10 in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the church department or teacher. Priest fund, free offer for priest not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you like to give. And get ready for the Lord's 53rd annual Passover. It's going to be Friday, April 15th, sundown. Make sure you have all your arrangements ready. Remind Aki about walking to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pant, headband, or scarf. With that, get one curse to teacher. Then Isreal. Isupk, Mike, Rock. Y'all Bashem Yahshabakatah.
Y'all Bashem Yahshabakatah.
Y'all Tommy hands down, class is missing.